Hello everyone, I'm Sharath from Networkers Home Technical Team. So today we will be discussing about wireless topic and we will be discussing about two devices which is wireless access point and wireless LAN controller, and then we will be looking at the wireless security protocols. So in today's agenda we will be discussing the theory part of all these devices and these protocols, and we will be looking at the theory discussion for wireless topic. In the next video, we will be looking at the lab demonstration for wireless topic. So this is wireless topic part 1. Okay. So we know that if we want to join wired devices into our network, we need switch, correct? But how do we join wireless devices into our network? Okay. So this is the question. How do we join wireless devices into our network? So suppose we have a router, we have a switch. Yes, we have a router. Then we have a switch. To this switch, we can connect wired devices like PC, laptop, or this can be another PC. So to the switch, we can join wired devices where there is an Ethernet port available. But how do we join wireless devices into the network? So suppose if there are two mobile phones, okay, suppose if there are two mobile phones, how do I join these two mobile phones into the network? So to join these mobile phones into the network, we need a wireless setup. If we need a wireless setup, then we need to use a wireless access point. So here comes another device called as wireless access point. Okay. So here we will be using one device called as wireless access point. This is again a layer 2 device. So this wireless access point will be having the capability to generate a Wi-Fi zone. Okay, we call it as WAP. This wireless access point will be connected to switch, and that will be a wired connection. And this WAP or access point will be having the capability to generate a Wi-Fi zone. So any device within this Wi-Fi zone will be able to wirelessly join to the wireless access point. Okay. Any wireless device present within this Wi-Fi zone. So this is mobile 1 and mobile 2. So any device present within this Wi-Fi zone will be able to wirelessly connect to the access point, and this access point in turn is connected to switch, and the switch in turn is connected to the router. So this is how you can join wireless devices into your network. So you mainly need this device called as wireless access point. To discuss few point about wireless access point. So this is how an access point would look like. So a wireless access point or WAP is a networking device that allows wireless capable devices to connect to a wired network. It is simpler and easier to install WAPs to connect all the computers or devices in your network than use wires and cables. So obviously when you use wires and cables, complexity of the network will increase, troubleshooting will become difficult. Instead, if you replace with wireless, so obviously you can even conserve space. An access point is a device that creates a wireless local area network or WLAN, usually in an office or a large building. An access point connects to a wired router, switch, or hub via the Ethernet cable and projects a Wi-Fi signal to a designated area. So you can see this access point will be generating a Wi-Fi zone. Within this Wi-Fi zone, any wireless devices available will connect to the access point, and access point in turn will be connected to switch, and the switch in turn is connected to the router. So yes, we can move to the next slide. So what are the advantages of using this wireless access point? When you have both employees and guests connecting to desktop, laptops, mobile phones, and tablets, 20 devices on a wireless network add up quickly. So obviously nowadays everything has become wireless. So therefore, 20 devices can easily add up in a wireless network at 60 simultaneous connections each. Okay, at 60 simultaneous connections each, access point gives you the freedom to scale the number of devices supported on your network. So an access point can support up to 60 simultaneous connections. But that's only one of the advantages of using this network enhancers. Consider these points also. So business grade access point can be installed anywhere you can run an Ethernet cable. Newer models are compatible with Power over Ethernet Plus or PoE Plus or combination of Ethernet and power cord. So there is no need to run a separate power line or install an outlet near the access point. So these access point devices are not heavy devices. Okay, they don't need a separate power connection or a plug-in point. They can be powered on with the help of Ethernet cables itself. Okay, for that we will be using a special type of Ethernet cable called as PoE plus, power over Ethernet. So with the help of these access points, with the help of these PoE cables itself, we can power on an access point, and a plug-in point or a power connection is not definitely required. Additional standard features include captive control and access controller support, so you can limit the guest access without compromising network security, as well as easily manage users within your network. So you can also implement ACL features to restrict the number of users and restrict the number of networks who wants to be connected. The next question, the next device what we have to learn is WLC. But before that, we have to see what is the need for WLC. So we understood that each access point can support up to 60 simultaneous connections, correct? Each access point can support up to 60 simultaneous connections. And the one more point here is one access point will not be able to cover the whole building. Okay, suppose if your building is very large and very wide, then one access point will not be definitely enough. So one access point can cover up to certain range, but what if the devices are beyond that range? So that's why we will have to implement multiple access points. Okay, we will have to implement multiple access points to cover the whole building range. So like this, if you see, we need many access points. Obviously, we need many access points to cover up the whole building range, correct? And to manage, troubleshoot, and access all these access points individually, it is tough. It is difficult. So to manage all these access points individually, it is a time-taking process and it is tough. So what we will do is we will use a centralized system called as WLC, Wireless LAN Controller. And this wireless LAN controller will be controlling all these access points. So all the access points will be connected to one WLC, and through this WLC, we get a centralized access to all these access points. So the next device what we will be discussing about is wireless LAN controller. So this is how a wireless LAN controller would look like. See, all these access points will be connected to the wireless LAN controller. And to these access points, you are able to see that end devices are being connected. So a wireless LAN controller is a centralized device in the network which is used in combination with lightweight access point protocol to manage lightweight access points. Okay, to manage lightweight access points in large quantities by the network administrator or network operation center. So these are also called as PAT access points. These access points on the network are managed, operated, and configured independently. So WLCs will be managed, configured independently, but WLC can provide a centralized access to access points. The WLC automatically handles the configuration of wireless access point. As I told you, wireless LAN controller gives you a centralized access to the access points. Because of its centralized position and brain power, the wireless LAN controller is aware of wireless LAN environment. It provides services that can lower the price of deployment. ease the management process, and provide several layers of security. So WLC also provides a layer of security. It helps you easily manage all your access points, and it is easy to deploy into your network. So these are the benefits of using a wireless LAN controller in our network. It is secure. With all the news, with all the daily news about hacking and data breaches, security is an essential factor to have in mind for an organization. Wireless LAN controller fights against all kinds of threats to your organization based on user ID and location, thanks to the built-in security characteristics. So using WLC, we can also set usernames and passwords. Okay, using WLC, we can set usernames and passwords. It is centralized. A centralized wireless LAN controller provides malleability for deployment, which will lower the budget planning instruments and time spent organizing a wireless network in the business. The third point is it is simple. Having a wireless LAN controller will help you administer and supervise your access point in a centralized hub. As I told you, WLC provides a centralized access for all the access points. So this was the introduction to wireless access point and wireless LAN controller. So in this class, as I told you, we will just be discussing, or in this video, we will just be discussing about the theory part for the wireless topic. Once we cover that in this video, in the next video, we will be seeing the lab demonstration for this topic. Okay, so we have finished discussing regarding what is WAP and what is WLC. Now we will have to discuss regarding wireless security protocols. So what are the wireless security protocols? So the first protocol what comes into picture is WPA. Okay, sorry. The first protocol what comes into picture is WEP. Okay, WEP is the first wireless protocol, wireless security protocol. So WEP stands for Wired Equivalent Privacy, and it was the first Wi-Fi security protocol approved in September 1999. It was initially expected to deliver the same security level as wired networks. A secondary function of WEP is said to prevent unauthorized access to a wireless network. However, it has been found that WEP is not as secure as desired. WEP is used at two lowest layers of OSI model, which is data link layer and physical layer. It therefore does not offer end-to-end security. Nevertheless, at that time, cryptographic technology was restricted and Wi-Fi devices were limited to 64-bit encryption. Even though the limitation was broken through and increased to 128-bit, there were also many security issues in WEP that made the keys easy to crack. WEP was a highly vulnerable wireless security protocol. It was finally replaced by WPA. So WEP was the first Wi-Fi security protocol invented. WEP did not meet to the expectation, so we replaced WEP with a WPA. Okay, so WPA, temporary enhancement for WEP. In 2003, as WEP gradually performed its weakness, WPA was adopted by the Wi-Fi Alliance as an alternative for WEP. 256-bit encryption technology was introduced to WPA, which is an obvious increase compared to 64-bit and 128-bit encryption in the WEP system. In WPA standard, there is a diversity between the two modes. So there is WPA Enterprise and WPA Personal, which use different encryption methods. WPA Personal is a common method to secure wireless networks, and it is suitable for most home networks. WPA Enterprise provides the security needed for wireless networks in business environment where a radius server is deployed. So in WPA, there are two modes. There is WPA Enterprise and WPA Personal. WPA Enterprise can be used for corporate networks. WPA Personal can be used for home networks. So then WPA was replaced with WPA2. Improvement based on WPA. WPA2 was ratified as the new Wi-Fi security standard in 2004. The most significant improvement in the WPA2 security standard is the implementation of the advanced encryption standard, which provides higher security and performance. There is still a vulnerability that brings security problems because a hacker can get access to a secured WPA2 network and get access to the certain keys to attack other devices on the same network. It is a security issue that matters to the enterprise network instead of home network users. So WPA2 was suitable for home networks, but again for corporate networks, open networks, and for public, it was not that suitable. So then came up WPA3, the next generation Wi-Fi security. With the aim to simplify Wi-Fi security, enable more robust authentication, and deliver increased cryptographic strength for higher sensitive data markets, WPA3 was proposed by the Wi-Fi Alliance in June 2018. The advent of WPA3 remedies the protection against the flaws in WPA2, such as dictionary attacks. For public networks such as coffee shops or hotels, WPA3 has really good security because it will automatically encrypt the connection without any need for credentials. So WPA3 is very much suitable for open networks, for public, and for corporates. So these are the few Wi-Fi security protocols. So we started with WEP, then we moved to WPA, then we came up with WPA2, then we discussed about WPA3. So that's all for this video. In the next video, we will be looking at the lab demonstration for wireless topic. Thank you.